16 minutes, but she has run 15:39. There's Jen Nesbitt of Wales, 17th in the 10,000 metres 4 years ago. Matikali of the Solomon Islands is in there. No mark for the 35-year-old. Eloise Walker of Scotland. 3 5,000s this year and getting faster each time. She's in good form with the 21-year-old. The Rwandan, Emmeline Imani-Zabayo. No form for her, the 26-year-old. But how will she go? The Ugandan, Sarah Chalanga, well in the heats of the 5,000 in Tokyo last year, but recently 5th in the African Championships. Beatrice Chebet of Kenya. She could be a real danger. Former World Under-20 champion and the African champion over 5,000 in early June. Beth Kidder of England, 28-year-olds on 15:49. Stella Chesang of Uganda, well, she will be inspired, surely. She's the Rio champion over 10,000 back in 18. She is the defending champion. Former world mountain running champion too is Chesang. She's clearly a tough customer. She could be the biggest danger to McColgan achieving the double. Eilish McColgan raised the roof in this stadium, and Mum Liz and her dad Peter, I'm sure, are here again. 5,000 metres then, anything around 15 minutes or quicker would be very, very respectable. That would obviously be 3 minutes per kilometre or 72 seconds per lap. Kenya looking for their 5th consecutive gold, incidentally. There's been no non-Kenyan winner since Paula Radcliffe in Manchester back in 2002, when the British athlete, the English athlete, set the Commonwealth Games record of 14:31. And this one has gone off pretty slowly, Rob. I don't think this is going to be a sub-15-minute jobby unless they really pick it up soon.
And maybe one of the likeliest reasons it would be, Tim, is if McColgan, who's just running behind Dominique Scott of South Africa, if she feels it is too slow and wants to turn it into an honest pace. That is where she is most comfortable, at the front, delivering metronomic lap after lap after lap. Chebet and Husseini dominating things at the moment, but they've gone to the front and kind of slowed it down. Chebet is an excellent athlete. Maybe she, along with Chesang, who's tucked in on the inside for Uganda, maybe she could be the biggest threat to McColgan's bid for a truly historic double. And McColgan, if you've been watching her for many years, you'll already know this, she has such a long stride that she has to position herself an extra half a yard ahead of a pack, because she runs the risk of having them clip her heels, and that's why she's positioning herself just a little way off the front. This is where she's most comfortable, Tim, and if she can turn it into an honest pace, maybe one by one she can whittle them away.
Well, this is what McColgan is best at, going to the front and just grinding it out. 11th in Eugene in the 5,000 metres, 10th in the 10,000. She's got the London Marathon coming up on October the 2nd. She's confirmed that will be her debut. Really exciting debut, that. But what you know with Eilish is that you will get good, honest racing every time. She's not scared of a hard, consistent tempo. Busienye looks very comfortable there, doesn't she? The Kenyan on the outside in 3rd place.
Bushkull of Australia is taking her 3rd round jump. She's already delivered 2 huge jumps. Can she get over 7 meters? And that looks very close. At the moment, the lead sits with S.A. Broom at 6 meters 99. Oh, she just gets so much height off the board, and her ability to sight the board is incredible, especially when you watch her runway. And just, she has one of the longest runways of the women in the field, and obviously the longer your runway is, the more opportunity for variance. But 6 meters 92, oh, she's still in 3rd place, but so consistent.
Meanwhile, in our other field final, round 1 in this men's javelin, Arshad Nadeem of Pakistan was 5th at the Olympic Games in Tokyo last year. He was also 5th recently at the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon. So looking to get his account open. Oh, that's a good start. Oh gosh, clearly over the 85-meter line. His lifetime best is 86.38. That is going to be very close. In his 2nd Commonwealth Games, last 2 majors in 5th position. This is a brilliant opener. by Arshad Nadeem of Pakistan. He's really thrown the gauntlet down to the rest of the athletes in this field. Look at the roar. 86.81, a lifetime best, into the lead. Julius Yego then of Kenya. Now, if anyone's going to challenge Nadeem of Pakistan, it's going to be Yego. The world champion in 2015, the African champion this year, was disappointed in Oregon. Was 14th in qualifying. Not near his best. Only over 80 metres this year. Oh, but he's responded to Nadeem's throw of 86.81. That's better. He's a 92.72 thrower at his best. A little smile from Julius Yego. It's going to be a huge season's best. He just didn't get it right a couple of weeks ago. Brilliant slow-mo replays. Keeping himself behind the line. He's got close here to the lead. 85.70, a season's best, into second.
Back to this 5,000 metres, 4:44 at 4 laps. The first kilometre was at 2:58. McColgan still leading from Dominique Scott of South Africa, but Busiene and Chebet of Kenya in third and fourth, and then Sarah Inglis of Scotland having a good run. Then the Ugandan pairing, Chalangat and Chezang. You can see Busiene on the outside there, just staying off the curb, not really being stretched by this. I don't think Eilish has really cranked it up yet. She's biding her time. We're still inside the first 2 kilometres, remember. That's 4.5 laps done now. And they're on something just inside 15-minute tempo. Nothing particularly daunting, but it is quick enough to begin to whittle down the field. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 beginning to get away.
Yes, and this is good tactics from McColgan. She didn't want that huge group. She won't be feeling uncomfortable at all at knocking out the 71s and 72s. Scott looks really composed in second place. 7th here in the 10,000 metres. They're coming round to lap 1 or 2 of the back markers who've got the slower PBs. I think it's the athlete from the Solomon Islands who hasn't run inside 19 minutes. But Scott looking good in second. It's a little bit ominous. The 2 Kenyans are quite happy at the moment, Tim, just tagging along for the ride. And one by one, this little group will begin to be whittled down. This is good running, though, by McColgan at the moment.
Well, I think we know that McColgan has got the extra gears to wind it up if she needs to. The Kenyans and the Ugandans will know that. One of the Ugandans beginning to drop back now. I think that's Chezang, back in about 8th place. So a 9th place, in fact. But McColgan calling the shots at the moment, completely in control. They went through 2K in 5:55. And almost identical, slightly quicker second kilometre, 2:58 the first kilometre, 2:57 the second kilometre. But she's a very smart racer. I think Eilish will gradually turn the screw and try to tire this field.
Keyshawn Walcott in the javelin. Trinidad and Tobago, the world number 6 this year. He's run over 89 metres, the Olympic champion in London 2012. Everybody chasing Nadeem and Yego. Well, it's falling just shy of the 85-metre line. What a brilliant start to this men's javelin throw final. Another athlete, though, like Yego, that was disappointing at the World Championships this year, was just 16th in qualifying, below the 79-metre line. The 29-year-old, 82.61 into third.
Only 6 now, Tim. One by one, they are falling off McColgan's pace.
Yes, interesting, isn't it? Because it's quick enough to trouble many athletes. Around 14:50 tempo. McColgan, remember, has a lifetime best of 14:28. That is a supreme world class, one of the quickest Europeans ever. But she leads from that Kenyan pairing, Busiene and Chebet in second and third. Then her teammate, Sarah Inglis, having a fabulous run here is English. 9th in the 10,000 here, maybe heading for something better. The athlete from the Lothian club works as a school teacher up in Langley, British Columbia now. But McColgan with the 2 Kenyans and Inglis, and behind Inglis, Sarah Chalangat of Uganda. Scott just beginning to struggle now, the South African, having to let this quintet go.
And also, Chalangat now just beginning to allow a couple of metres to grow. There's a few back markers they're going past, but all of a sudden, you've got Scotland in first and fourth. Inglis running really well here. I thought she did well in the 10,000 here, third in the national champ. She's in PB shape this year, just outside 15 minutes. But still, Luciani and Chebet tucking in behind McColgan. Another 2:57 kilometre. This is what she does best. It's metronomic pacing, and one by one, they are falling by the wayside. Her quest to follow again in her mum's footsteps going well. Liz McColgan had a gold in Auckland in the 10,000 and a bronze over the shorter of the longer races. McColgan's eyes, though, are firmly fixed on a second gold.
Well, they're playing to her tune at the moment. Now, if Yesenia wanted to disrupt her race, she could. She could come round McColgan and speed it up or slow it down, just disrupt the lovely, steady tempo that McColgan likes. She almost runs into the back of Eilish there, struggling to keep away from those long, rangy stride of McColgan. The heels coming up very high. It's so difficult to run behind an athlete like that. But I can only assume that Yesenia is comfortable, that Chebet is comfortable, and Eilish will know full well, because she comes through this time. It's 4 laps to go, pretty much a mile to run from now. And they're getting away, these three, and Inglis is having to let them go. That could be her saying goodbye to a medal. She's run superbly, Rob, to hang on this long and be dragged away from most of this field.
She has put together a brilliant race. The Scot in fourth, but so too has the Scot in front. The athlete I would be concerned about from McColgan's point of view is the smaller of the two Kenyans in third, Tim, because she's the only one in the field who has run faster than McColgan over the 5,000 this year. McColgan has the quicker lifetime best between herself and the Kenyan in third, but the youngster, who's only 22, a former world junior champion, she's an African champion. She's a really, really high-quality performer. She was on the podium in Eugene as well. She's run 14:46 this season, and I think she looks slightly more comfortable than the Kenyan just ahead of her in second place.
She is undoubtedly the danger, is Beatrice Chebet, the African 5,000 champion. Looks very comfortable, doesn't she? What she got in those Kenyan legs. McColgan, though, is a canny racer. She will be thinking on her feet, calculating all the time. When do I wind it up? When do I click it up another notch? When do I click it up another notch? Almost like turning up the volume on a radio, just putting the pressure on the athletes behind her. She's looking okay, is Eilish McColgan, coming up towards 4 kilometres at the end of the straight this time. And Chebet, you're right, Rob, looks ominously calm and simple here, doesn't she? They went through 3,000 in 8:53. There's kilometre splits, 2:58, 2:57, 2:57. And this is 4K now. There it is, another 2:56. She has cranked it up a little bit.
She's running at her own pace. It's the perfect tactic for McColgan. You could argue she's slightly better as the distances go up, and she will be well aware of the danger posed by the tiny figure running just behind her. I think Hussaini is having to work really hard to stay with McColgan here, but Chebet has got a really economic style. She's a tiny figure in contrast to McColgan, but with 2 laps to go, the Kenyan, who is tracking the long-term leader from Scotland, looks poised to strike. Will McColgan be able to respond this time if the Kenyan does go?
Well, 3 of them away. They are undoubtedly barring disaster, the medalists. Inglis is still in 4th place. Markoch back in 5th. Scott of South Africa in 6th. But this is the battle, and Chebet there almost looks like she's chomping at the bit, ready to go. When does she kick? But McColgan will be expecting this. Has she got something in her armoury to cope with the inevitable attack from at least one of these 2 Kenyans? The little figure of Chebet, Beatrice Chebet, almost jogging, it seems, on the shoulder of Eilish McColgan. Happy to run wide on the bend, running another 2 or 3 metres there on the outside of lane 1, alongside the Scot. Luciani back in 3rd place. We mustn't discount a 500 to run, Rob, and it's anybody's race.
They are all getting ready for the big, big strike for home. And listen to the roar as they hit the bell. Hussaini gets to the front. McColgan has her stride checked. Can she find anything on the last 400 to stay with the 2 Kenyans?
Well, she's got the speed, has Eilish McColgan now, with 350 metres to run to stay behind these Kenyans. She's almost chopping her stride there, that long, raking stride of hers, the back kick exceptionally high. Has she got the speed? Is there fatigue in those legs after the 10,000? McColgan behind Bushenye and Chebet. Kenya 1-2. This is like the men's 10,000 metres with Kiplimo tucked behind two Kenyans as Chebet kicks off the front. McColgan reacts, but maybe a little too late. Behind Bushenye, the second Kenyan, a glance over her shoulder. She will be third, but Chebet is gone and away. And the World Championship silver medalist will not be caught now. That's an extraordinary increase in pace. Fabulous running from Beatrice Chebet. Kenya will take gold in the 5,000 metres. She has blasted away. That's 25 metres in the space of 150. She's opened up. It's going to be gold for Kenya all the way. Beatrice Chebet punches the air as she crosses the line. A superb Scottish silver for Eilish McColgan. And a beautiful bronze for Bushenye there. Stella Bushenye, 12th in the 1500 8 years ago. She's found her distance now. And the winning time, 14:38. A massive personal best for Bushenye, going inside 15 minutes for the first time.
Well, as we watch the South African Dominic Scott coming home with Sarah Inglis, a tired figure, just behind her. The casualties all blown out the back. First of all, by the metronomic pace of Eilish McColgan, and then the devastating turn of... Always looked the most comfortable of the two Kenyans running behind the Scot, and she was not to be denied. World silver is Commonwealth gold, and the way she accelerated with about 2:20 to go, even McColgan, in the kind of form that she's shown already this week, could do nothing in response. But Tim, by taking the silver in the shorter of the races, she has outperformed her mum. Liz McColgan had a gold in the 10 in Auckland and a bronze over the shorter of the distances, and her daughter has gone gold and silver. It's a brilliant performance by McColgan, and I'm glad she punched the air as she crossed the line. You can argue she's better at the 10 than she is at the 5. She burned everybody but Chebet on. Great bronze for Husseini, but Chebet was just too good and too fast.
Chebet in a different class ultimately. Clearly a lot of pressure, didn't have to run the 10,000 metres here. Here is the 300 metres to go marker. McColgan was showing signs of stress and strain here with 200 to run. Chebet glanced up at the big screen there, bang, off she was gone like a rabbit with 220 to go. And really quick turnover. Lovely, light on her feet, isn't she? Superb speed around the crown of the bend there. McColgan, what a contrast, that long stride of hers, powering away. She glances over her shoulder, McColgan, there with about 110 to go. But she was safe for silver. Chebet, well, way out in front. Wins by almost 4 seconds. Superb from Beatrice Chebet, who has got so much more in the tank, surely. Her personal best is 14:34. McColgan's is 14:28. On paper, McColgan can go quicker, producing that British record and Scottish record, of course, in Oslo last year at the Bislett Games. But Beatrice Chebet, perhaps the difference between the two was the fresh legs. At 10,000 metres really does take it out of you, you know. And the way that she won that 10,000 the other night, Eilish McColgan, feeding off the crown, that drains you for days.
Yeah, undoubtedly she was feeling it. I mean, she's a prolific racer, McColgan. She'll go again and again and again, and it's great training in her legs for the London Marathon to come at the start of October. But what about Beatrice Chebet, the world junior champion from 4 years ago, the African champion? She floated away from McColgan over this